What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Zachswildlife channel. Today we are here, part 2 of 3 in the Catch and Cook series. This is going to be where I show you exactly how to cut up bluegill, show them where their spines are, how to avoid the rib cage, everything like that. So stay tuned and we'll get right to it. Alright, so first things first, you're going to want to sharpen your knife if you haven't already. A sharp knife is a good knife. After that, you're going to want to clear your area and give yourself some room to work. Perfect. Alright guys, we moved for a little bit better sunlight, but first things first, you're going to want to make your first incision. I do it a little bit below the gill plate, so like right here, just above the pectoral fin. I believe that's the pectoral fin. His side fin. We'll go with side fin. And once you do that, you're going to cut up towards the top where the spines are. So you're going to scrape away these scales real quick. And then you're able to make an incision. And bring it all the way up to the top of the head. Then when you reach the spines, you're going to want to turn your knife sideways and you're going to go straight down towards the tail. Just like that, making tiny incisions. You can't go too far because there are ribs there, you'll feel them, so it'll kind of stop you from going too far. But once you don't feel them anymore, you're able to just push the knife the rest of the way through, keep a downward pressure, and you're gonna get as much of that meat as possible with that downward pressure. After that, you're gonna sneak your hand in there and lift up the flap, just like so, and you're gonna just run your knife where you feel those ribs. You're just gonna run it and peel it back. Run it, peel it back. See, this is one of the smaller catches, and even the smaller catches really do have quite a bit of meat for their size. So right now I'm just cutting through the ribs. You can feel them, you can hear them. And then there's gonna be a point where, for me, my fillet looks like this now, but I can't pull it any more back this way. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue that first incision, and I'm gonna go all the way down towards the belly. You're obviously not gonna hurt the fish anymore. He's dead, and that's gonna just help you continue to make those cuts and pull the fillet back. That's what I find helps me the most. And there we go. And you're just able to poke it through the bottom, cut it off. There. Alright, so there's your fillet. That was a small fish. That's your fillet. And what you're going to do is put your fingernail at the tail end of that fillet, cut your knife down to the scales. You'll feel the skin there. And then you're just going to run nice, smooth cuts, keeping downward pressure. And you're gonna pull that fillet right off of there. There you are. That's your fillet. You're left with the skin, and that's it. It's really quite simple. So we're gonna do this other side. Again, I'll show you real quick. Make that first cut by the side fin, down by his gill plate there, just on the other side of the gill plate. Scrape away those scales. Then you're able to make that incision up towards the spine, where you're going to turn your knife sideways and make those tiny cuts down to the rib cage until you don't feel the ribs no more. You're going to poke it out the bottom, keep that downward pressure. There you go. Now you're going to pull it apart again, just like that. Make small side cuts. It's going to help separate your fillet. you'll be able to hear the ribs. These are boneless fillets this way. You won't have a bone in them. It's gonna obviously take some practice. It took me a long time. My buddies can tell you about that. We'd leave in the spring with a bunch of perch, and I might be able to, you know, get like 10 fillets off of them, off of like a bunch of perch. So it took me a while to learn. It's gonna take you a while to learn. There's just tricks to it that you won't understand or know how to do until you try to do it yourself. So not that bad. There's my fillet, and I just cut it through the bottom. There we go. That's my fillet. I'm gonna pinch down right here, put my fingernail there, drive it down. I accidentally cut it off completely. There we go. Drive it down, and nice smooth motions. Get your fillet the rest of the way off. That's a boneless fillet. There we go. Not bad for a little fish. Alright, you guys, I am all done cutting up these 7 bluegill. This is 7 bluegill. There's a ton of meat on these guys, so you don't want to waste it. So I'm going to show you how to storage them if you're not going to cook them up right away. So what you're going to want to do is obviously put them in a plastic bag like this. There we go. Once you've got them in a plastic bag, you're going to want to mark the plastic bag, put the date, put what it is. You don't want to get it mixed up with, I don't know, the wife's chicken or some other random thing that might be floating around in your freezer from 1988. But, so if you put it in the freezer just like this, the likelihood of it getting freezer burnt is pretty likely. So what you're going to want to do is fill the bag up with water. You don't want any air in this bag. Voila! We have our bag full of water and fish. The water is going to keep that air from touching the fish and keep it from getting freezer burnt. We have it labeled bluegill 81018, and there you have it. If you're not ready to eat it right away, you can now store it without it getting ruined. Alright, now if I helped you out in any way, please leave a big thumbs up on this video, and don't forget to subscribe because part 3 is coming later this week. Part 1 was earlier this week. This is part 2. Part 3 is coming, and I got the best recipe for that fish. You're going to want to see it. You probably never even heard of it. So remember to subscribe, remember to like, and I'll see you next time on Zach's Wildlife.